Now Emma is named at 5, but she plays all over the pitch. I've seen her play on the forwards too. She's a super mobile player, and 28 is out there as well, and that's Regan Fay from Berra. So big changes there for Tyrone, and they're putting a girl in there, Regan Fay, who, as far as I know, hasn't been played too much before for the county. So a big ask for her and a big day for her to go in against Dublin. But we are underway, and it's Dublin on the first attack of the game. They get it out to Niamh McAvoy, and she gets a little bit of support from Lucy Collins from the Fianna Club, and Lucy steps forward, looks for the little ball inside and gets there. Tyrone tried to cut that out, but they weren't able to, and there could be a chance right at the start, and it's kicked left-footed over the bar by Hannah Tyrrell. Hannah, of course, named on the team of the leagues, former rugby star, scored 7 points in the National League final, and she's made her mark already in the Senior Championship. So 1 point to Dublin in the first minute. And the Tyrone goalkeeper is Maeve Maxwell. That's a little bit of a surprise, because Laura Kane was named to start and Maeve was in the subs about 28 or 26 or something, and at the last minute we heard that Maeve is named in goals. Now Tyrone will build slowly from the back. This is Brennan, named at midfield, so don't be fooled by the number 5 jersey, and that's a nice ball from Emma to pop it over the Dublin defence and make a little bit of room there and get it through to the full forward line, and the effort is left-footed, and that it's going just to the left. A good effort from Niamh O'Neill, who was their top scorer in the National League last year, and the referee has actually brought it back, possibly for a foul, maybe a push on her as she was kicking it, and one umpire seems to be waving a white flag as if that was a point, but it definitely wasn't from where I could see. No, it's been brought back for a free, and it will be taken by Chloe McCaffrey for Tyrone from the St. McCartans club. I think she's testing the wind there, but as I was saying a few minutes ago, there doesn't really look to be much of a breeze, although having said that, I'm looking up at the flags and they are fluttering a little bit more than they were, so it looks as if there is a breeze, it'll be going from her right to left, so she might just use it, aim for the far post and drop it in by the near post. Expertly done by Chloe McCaffrey, and the applause goes up. There is a Tyrone support here, although when I look around now down in front of me, it seems to be all blue. There's lots of Dublin supporters here, and the applause was actually from the Tyrone substitutes. So it's 1 point all, and the referee is asking, can we get another ball behind the goals, because Ciara Trant has had to go up into the stand there to retrieve that ball, and here she comes now. And as I said earlier, it's good to see Ciara back starting for Dublin. She did come in for the league final as a substitute near the end of the game, and she's been a regular over the last few years. 2 All-Stars, of course. I think it was 2017 and 2018. And Abby Shields came in for the league and did extremely well. Very young player, and I think she's only 18, and from Lucan Sarsfield's one definitely for the future. And I'm sure Ciara didn't mind stepping aside to let Abby have a go in there, and it worked out pretty well. They won the league. Now Hannah Leahy's got all the way forward there, the number 4 for Dublin. And there's McAvoy. She's looking to find an opening, but she's been well marshalled actually by the Tyrone number 3. And that's Tori McLaughlin, the captain. So she's picking up Niamh McAvoy, the centre half forward. That's an interesting tactical move there by Tyrone. Ball comes out to Lauren McGee, and she uses Alwyn Carey. And Alwyn Carey goes for the direct ball into the full forward line. It looks to be cut out, but it actually reaches the target in the end, and the shot is left-footed. And I think that's still in play. She might claim that was a free, but it's actually a pass rather, but it's gone over the end line. So interesting Tyrone defence there, the way they let Dublin keep the ball and were very patient, and in the end it did come to nothing. So if that's the tactic from Tyrone, they might be trying to sit in there and frustrate Dublin. Tyrone on the attack with Niamh Hughes from Airua Dungannon, and she spills, goes to the ground. The referee says play on. Tyrrell now for Dublin, and boots it long into the full forward line, but it doesn't stick with Kiva O'Connor, and instead it's the Tyrone number 8, Aoibhinn McHugh, who gets in there. And the Tyrone management will be very happy with the first few minutes of this game. They're coping very well with the Dublin threat, and they're making Dublin kick long, and when they do, Dublin are having very little success. And there's a foul by the number 3 for Dublin, Martha Byrne, that the referee penalises just outside the 45. Martha, of course, an all-star last year from the Coola Club, and indeed recently she was named on the 2021 team of the league, so she's definitely in form. And you know what, Grania Rafferty I think was going for that, or maybe she was going for the pass, and that could have been dangerous, but it just drops over the end line. She didn't have many options there, Grania, and in the end just lashed it into the full forward line. I think she was looking for Niamh O'Neill but didn't get her. Now, oceans of space in front of Lucy Collins to run into, and I can see off camera down to my right that Dublin are going to have a job in their hands because Tyrone have dropped 2 or 3 players in there. They're not going woman to woman, they are marking space, so the Tyrone strategy very clear from the start. And now when they get the ball, obviously they try to break with not huge numbers, but enough to try and get on the ball and move it forward, and that's exactly what they're doing now. And this is good play by Tyrone actually to get in behind Dublin, but Dublin have players back as well, and they're going to have to run through, and that's exactly what they're doing. But Chloe McCaffrey runs into traffic, and it's a blue wall in there, and she ends up getting a free. There was 4 or 5 Dublin players there, and they weren't going to let her through, but she'll be happy enough to get the free in the end. So Tyrone's tactics working quite well in the first 6 minutes of this game, and they could actually go into the lead here. She takes it left-footed and puts it over the bar, and it is Dublin 1 point, Tyrone 2 points. And there is a little bit of surprise in my voice there because of the record between these teams and because of the record of Dublin in the championship that I mentioned earlier on. 22 straight championship wins since Mick Bohan came in. The last game that Dublin lost in the championship was actually the previous game, the 2016 All-Ireland final against Cork. So Tyrone edging into the lead against the champions, but here comes Lauren McGee with a dangerous looking ball into the full forward area, and the referee has spotted an infringement there, but Maeve Maxwell on goals dealt well with it nonetheless, and it's Tyrone who come out with the ball, and they will be encouraged by the last break, so they're doing something similar here. Now they're outnumbered here, they've only got 3 against about 7 Dublin players in that half of the field, so their options are limited. And in fact I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Dublin players against 3 inside the 45. So Tyrone certainly not committing players forward, but they've got another free, and they will be happy with that again. 7.5 minutes nearly gone, 2-1 for Tyrone, and I'll not say thrilled, but they'll certainly be quietly pleased about the way things have gone so far, because it looks like their game plan is working, and that's beautifully executed. Left-footed free makes it 3 points to 1, and that was Niamh O'Neill putting that over from the Sperrino club, and Kevin McChrystal will be delighted to be 3-1 up against the Dubs, and although it's only just coming up and 8 minutes gone, it's more the tactics and the way that the game is going that he will be happy with. They're quite happy to let Dublin have the ball here in lots of room. Niamh McAvoy, as I said earlier, she's been followed by Tori McLaughlin, the Tyrone captain, all over the pitch, so they've obviously said, Tori, you pick her up, she's a danger there, so I want you to try and nullify that. But here comes Kiva O'Connor, and Kiva gets fouled, and I think that's maybe the first free Tyrone have given around that area, so they've been quite disciplined so far. But Kiva O'Connor was racing through there, and she drew the foul, so that will be a free for the Dubs. Tyrone have scored 3 frees already, and Dublin have scored the only score from play in the first minute. But since that first minute, Dublin have conceded 3 points. Now Niamh McAvoy, and she goes high, and she looks for Heatherton and looks for a Hearn, and a Hearn always available and so quick to pop that over with her left foot. Nicely worked. She reads the game so well and executes off either side. So a second score from play, and there again you see Heatherton, her height came to their advantage, and she laid it off, and Ahern, the captain, popped it over. So 3 points to 2, and Dublin's first score in 8 minutes. Dublin coming again, but that kick is going to go over the line from Leah Caffrey, and that will suit Tyrone quite nicely. And I wonder what Dublin will be thinking at this point about what they're going to do about this Tyrone. Can I call it a blanket defence possibly? And Mick Bowen I see down to my left there, and he looks very studious and doesn't look too impressed so far. Of course he will be patient, and he knows that there's a long way to go, and there he is. And he's watching what's going on, and he'll be trying to think of a way, because Dublin seem to have been going for quite a few high long balls in there, but you can do that when you have Niamh Heatherton and people like that in there, but they might try to vary it a little bit, and that's I suppose what they did with Kiva O'Connor when she tried to run through. Now a free for McHugh for Tyrone, and just looking at the shape, I'm trying to see where Sinead Ahern's playing, and she's out around the 45, so she's definitely not sitting in the full forward area. Tyrone goes short to Grania Rafferty from the free, and the ball gets bundled over the line, and I think Grania was half expecting a free or the ball to go for her, the decision to go for her, but it doesn't. And Leah Caffrey retrieves the ball. Linesperson tells her, don't be stepping forward from there. She's going to go back, because you know what, there's 3 Dublin players all the way back there, so Tyrone obviously letting Dublin have the ball all the way back there. Huge pitch here in Breffni, and Tyrone not committing many players forward, and I think that is called an understatement. Now that's good work in there from Dublin, and that was Siobhan Killeen. And I've seen Siobhan and Kiva, both corner forwards, both from Clontarf, both out around the middle of the field. And a full forward area, just to keep you in touch with the stats, or not the stats, the tactics off camera. I see, yeah, Sinead Ahern is playing in around that full forward area, and they've got Niamh Heatherton in there as well, so they're going to try and get the ball in there. But look, Tyrone are doing really well. They are nullifying that threat. They're stopping the ball coming in on that occasion, and they're trying to break a pace against the Dubs, but it doesn't work out on that occasion, and Niamh McAvoy plays it into the full forward area to Hannah Tyrrell, and Hannah's been around the full forward, around the danger penalty area, if you could call it that. I know that's a soccer term, but she's been in there as well, and she adds a good height to the game as well. Now she immediately signals to her captain that she will come out to take that, and in the league final I think she scored 5 frees out of her 7 points, so she will fancy this. I think she's grabbed a yard or 2 advantage from where the foul was committed, and she will kick left footed, so she'll step in and try and put this over. She obviously thinks that this is in her range. And has it got the distance? Oh, it hasn't, you know, and the goalkeeper Maxwell did really well. I thought it might drop in, and sometimes you see those drop into the net, but Maxwell claimed it really well, and that will give her a little bit of confidence, because she came into the team today at a very late stage. She is wearing number 1, but she was actually wearing number 25 as she arrived here in Breffni Park, and then was named as the goalkeeper. So she's done well early on, and Tyrone are doing well. And here's the little break. They've got in behind the Dubs again, and they're very nippy, these Tyrone forwards, and doing really well, and there might even be a goal chance here, and that's fired to the net. Oh, what a brilliant score from Chloe McCaffrey. What a surprise for the Dubs early in this game. We'll see it again, and look at the run, look at the speed of the Tyrone players, and Dublin are a little bit perplexed about what's going on here. Tyrone's tactics are spot on, and they lead by 1-3 to 2 points. That's what you call hitting a team on the break, and they really did hit them on the break there in spectacular fashion. And the Dublin defenders, you can see, are having trouble with the pace of the Tyrone players, because Tyrone are running from deep, and they're running at them, and they're getting past them, whereas at the other end, you see in this example here, Lauren McGee has run into traffic. Eventually she's got her free, but she's not getting past the Tyrone players. So Tyrone will be, as I said earlier, they'll be quietly pleased. Now they'll be absolutely thrilled with the way things are going. A 4-point lead, it might be 3 points now, but still they would definitely have bitten your hand off for that before the game. And Tyrrell steps in left-footed, pops it over. So 1-3 to 3, a goal in it early on. The champions certainly not going to panic, but they are behind coming up to the water break, and that in itself is a bit of a surprise. Now that's a poor enough kick out, but it's gone and spilled and been picked up by Tyrone's number 7, Dervla Gallagher from Trillick. I saw her coming on in the game last year and doing really well. Now there's the Tyrone tactic. You see they're leaving one player, Niamh O'Neill, up there, and they're going sometimes either to run it or to hit just a long ball into her, but she wasn't able to get it there. She was out-muscled in there, I think is the phrase. And Dublin are able to retrieve it and come again. But Tyrone are conserving their energy because they haven't sent a lot of players forward. And they have a lot of players back. In fact, now And there it's working. You see that Dublin getting a little bit frustrated, or their supporters getting a little bit frustrated. Maybe the players aren't there too wily for that, but just looking around the pitch, there are only 2 Tyrone players in the Dublin half at the moment, and that's sort of the way they've been keeping it for most of the game. And then when they attack in clusters. Number 28 is Reagan Fay. And when you consider that Tyrone have had to make 5 changes before this game and bring in a few newbies, they are doing extremely well. But a great run here by Jennifer Dunn for Dublin. But look at that white wall in front of her there, and she has overcarried, and that will inspire the Tyrone players even more. It will lift them, but that's a poor ball there that's gone out of play. But it will reinforce the tactics for them and make them think, you know what, this is going extremely well for us. We're in the lead here against Dublin. They never expected to be in the lead, I'm sure, after 15 minutes. And they're also frustrating Dublin and able to put up a wall there and stop the likes of Jennifer Dunn. Now Tyrrell moves the ball to Kerry, and Dublin trying to move the ball faster. Maybe that's the key for the Dubs, but look, they're running into the Tyrone wall again, having to regroup, having to come out. And McGee there, and now another Dublin player, and it's Collins is going to try an effort from distance, and she fires it nicely over the bar. Well, that's one way to beat the blanket defence. Move it around quickly, take your scores from distance, and Lucy Collins did that expertly. There she is on the overlap, fires it left-footed over the bar, and we're back to a 2-point game. And it's now on the water break. And that round of applause, I have to tell you, off camera, is from the Tyrone substitutes. There was no applause at all from the Dublin supporters, and as I look around the stand here, all I can see is blue, but there was not one of them applauding the first 15 minutes of this game, and it was the Tyrone substitutes, because they were applauding their teammates who have started this game extremely well. And there are looks of concern over there on the Dublin side. You saw a shot there of Noel Healy, former captain, of course, who's now the doctor, or one of the doctors with them, and you see Mick Bohan there having a word, and he seems to be shaking his head and saying, come on, we need to get it together here. Or maybe he's happy enough, you know, it's not as if they're way behind, but it is an interesting tactical battle here, and it is interesting about what Dublin do about it. He might be saying, just be patient, and they are on top, and Tyrone, I'm sure the message for them is keep that going, keep the energy going. They didn't want a water break, I'm sure, because it was going so well. Now, I have been saying all along about the Dublin record under Mick Bohan, 22 straight championship wins, and basically I'm saying that he's never played against Tyrone, never lost against Tyrone, but, you know, dare I say at this point that Tyrone might have a chance in this game? Maybe, you know, they've started well, and if they keep going like this, you'd never know, but certainly their tactics are spot on, and they've done really, really well, and they have posed a few problems for the All-Ireland champions. But hold on, I knew I was speaking too soon, because here comes Siobhan Killeen from Clontarf getting in behind, and she draws a free, and this will be a Sinead Ahern effort. So Sinead Ahern taking them from that side, Hannah Tyrrell from the other, and this is the chance for Sinead to make it a 1-point game. And it sails over the bar, as you would expect. Her first score of the 2021 TG4 Senior Championship. Sinead Ahern, the captain, the veteran. She's been around so long. She was there in 2010, of course, the last time these teams met in the Senior Championship, which was the All-Ireland final, and Dublin's first ever All-Ireland final win. And it's almost hard to believe that now when you think they've won the last 4. They have 5 All-Ireland titles, but it's only 11 years since they won their first Brendan Martin Cup, and now they have 5, and they're hoping to head to get 5 in a row. Tyrone are warming up a substitute, by the way, number 24, Christiane Hunter from Omagh. So maybe the management thinking that they could do with a little bit of experience in the defence there, because that last free was given away for a foul that probably wasn't necessary. And maybe they think that Christiane will go in and steady the ship in there a little bit, settle things down, because a lot of young Tyrone players out there. Over on the far side, Tyrone break, and this is what they've done a lot in this game. They get over the halfway and they speed away from the Dublin defenders, and they link up really nicely, and then you've got players like McCaffrey and O'Neill in there in the full forward line who are doing very well to draw the frees. And that's exactly what's happened here again. So it's a free awarded by the referee Declan Carolan. for Tyrone. And even if this doesn't go over, it gives Tyrone a little bit of respite. Very interesting on them. As I'm looking off camera, maybe you'll get it in the wide shot here, but looking off to the right, we'll stay with the score for now, obviously. But I'll tell you what's happening off camera, and it shows what Tyrone are doing here today. And that goes over the bar, really well taken. Another score for Tyrone. Yeah, off camera I'm saying I see 3 Tyrone players inside their own half up against 2 Dublin players. Sorry, there's 4 against. But basically the point is there's 3 Tyrone players. So there are 3 Tyrone players sitting back all the time, making sure that when Dublin get forward that there's lots of Tyrone players back there. And that's good tackling again there by Dervla Gallagher from Trillick, and she forces the mistake, and it's Tyrone sideline ball. And yes, Christiane Hunter, number 24, is poised to come into the play. And that's obviously a tactical one. And you see the manager there, Kevin McChrystal, having a word with Grania Rafferty. He's already made the decision on the change, and the change is that the number 2, Megan Kerr, comes off and is replaced by Christiane Hunter. And as I say, Christiane will bring plenty of experience, and she will understand exactly what Tyrone are trying to do in there, and she will steady some of the younger girls in there. Niamh Hughes now from Aru and Dungannon. She's a teacher, and she's certainly teaching a few lessons out there. I've seen her play a few times in the last year, and she's very speedy and can take a great score as well, as can Grania Rafferty. Now this is clever play from Rafferty, holding it up. This is good from Tyrone now, moving the ball around, trying to break through, but Lauren McGee was there and she is penalised. And Tyrone move it quickly, and that's McCafferty, but she has moved it between 2 players from Tyrone, and in steps the Dublin player right away. That is Colleen, and she snatches it, and that's a strange looking pass. It was like a Gary Owen there into the full forward line towards Tyrrell, and that was a difficult ask for her, and Tyrone just say thank you very much. They have gobbled that one up. Number 20 for Tyrone is Emma Hegarty. She came in for Caitlin Kelly. She's from the Donegal club, and Tyrone now settling down and playing a nice composed brand of football here, moving it around, no great rush. Tori McLaughlin, the captain, and she has a marking job today on Niamh McAvoy, but obviously when Tyrone have the ball, she's trying to get a little bit of space herself. And this is Avian McHugh, the vice captain. That's brilliant work by the student, and she is going to get a free, and she drove forward, and look at the room over on the far side here for Tyrone as well, and they've done that a lot in this game, and that's a concern for Dublin as Chloe McCaffrey gets on the ball again. She loves to get on that left foot. She's been deadly so far, but that one just goes to the left. Great work by her, and great work by McHugh as well. And Tyrone, as I said earlier, well, I'm going from quietly pleased to thrilled, and now I'm going back to quietly pleased because it's 1-4 to 5. They're 2 points up, but after 23 minutes, that's more than Tyrone could have hoped for against the All-Ireland champions, the all-conquering All-Ireland champions. And it's Tyrone's first chance to get a game in any level, or rather at senior level in championship or league since 2016. And on that occasion, would you believe, Tyrone got beat 3-18 to 1 point. That was the last time these 2 teams played, and I was joking earlier that Dublin have improved since then, but Tyrone have definitely improved today, and this has been the best 20-25 minutes that Tyrone, I would say, have put in a long time in a top game. And this is super again. Here they come again, and 27 over there is Jane Lyons from Berra, and they're working the ball to the shooters. Oh, that's an absolutely brilliant point, another superb point, and you can see that she's buzzing out there. She enjoyed that one. She is having a great game here against the Dubs, and Tyrone going really, really well from distance. That's possibly the best score of the game so far. 1-5 to 5, and I'm not saying there's going to be a shock at the end of this game, but it is a shock that Tyrone are leading the All-Ireland champions at this point in the game. Very, very interesting indeed, and the Dubs have loads of room out here with the ball. Lauren McGee is saying, I'll take it on. She tries to move it quickly, and that's a decent ball into Tyrrell, and Tyrrell gets in behind McHugh. Now what can she do with it? She looks for support, she gets it. There's a goal on here, and it's blasted across the goals, and it actually goes over the bar, and I think that was Keeler O'Connor in there, and that was good work, although Tyrone are claiming that actually went wide. The umpire is going for his white flag, but he would have been very, very close to it. We see it on the replay there. Make up your own mind if that went over the bar or not. And now the umpire is holding the white flag, but he's not waving it. Now he is waving it, so they are giving it Tyrone convinced that that didn't go over. I noticed the other umpire, maybe the other umpire had a word, but in the end the point has been given, and it's 1-5 to 6, and a much needed point for Dublin. And more importantly, it was really well worked by Dublin. They're trying to beat the blanket defence, and that's how they did it. But this is how Tyrone have been beating Dublin so far, running from deep and leaving Dublin players in their wake, and then this high ball into the full forward line. Oh, and is this another score? Well, it looks easy for Tyrone at the minute, and I really didn't think I'd be saying that after 25 minutes of this game, but that's another super point for Tyrone, and it came from Niamh O'Neill. And Tyrone tactics working absolutely brilliantly. They are hitting the Dubs on the break, and the Dubs must be wondering what is going on here. 25 minutes gone, Dublin 6 points, Tyrone 1-6. Now Dublin's number 2, Laura McGinley, has come forward to see what she can do, and it goes back to McGee again. McGee decides that width is the answer. She gets it out to O'Connor. O'Connor goes past her marker really well. She got a point a minute ago. She speeds past another player. She gets it inside. There's a goal on here, and could the Dubs... Oh, they've rattled the net. That's how to do it. Jennifer Dunn smashes the ball to the net. There was no stopping that, and all of a sudden the Dubs are back in business. An absolutely brilliant goal there, made by O'Connor, finished by Dunn. And we'll correct our scoreboard in a second. We've given that to Tyrone. There's a lot of Tyrone guys working for us today. Maybe they've just tried to give that to us. But we'll have to correct that, because it's 1-6 to 1-6. It's level. But still a good position for Tyrone to be in. But it was Dunn who fired through from midfield. The girl from Coola, an all-star last year, and she was named in the team of the league recently. She's come into the team in the last year or two, and she has really come on leaps and bounds. Great work by O'Connor. Took out 2 or 3 players, laid it off, and then Dunn rattled it to the top of the net. And there's the Bannister for Tyrone, Kevin McChrystal. He'll not be happy obviously with that, but he should be content with the way things have gone so far. 1-6 to 1-6, coming up to 27 minutes. Great kick out by Maeve Maxwell, and beautifully taken by Aoibhinn McHugh for Tyrone. As if they're saying, we're not fazed by that goal at all. We're still going well. We're still enjoying ourselves out there. And there's a spring in their step, as you can see from that. And look at this ball in. This ball is working all day long, and this left foot has been like a wand. She has been firing that, and that might have gone just to the right. No, it's gone over the bar. How could I have doubted? Niamh O'Neill on a day like this, she is on fire, and that's a brilliant response by Tyrone. You see her on that left foot, and Dublin must be thinking, who can we now put on her? Who can we mark her? And at the minute it's Leah Caffrey, but I'm sure Mick Bowen is maybe he's tried 1 or 2 already, but he might be thinking, I need to get someone on that girl, because they keep falling for that dummy on the left foot every time. Now look at the amount of Dublin players there. Actually, they're just to the left of that shot. Look, you see them coming into shot now. 4 Dublin players there. Tyrone are just saying, you can have the ball out there. Tyrone in the lead, coming up to 28 minutes. Fascinating game here. A lot of people probably thought this would be very one-sided. O'Connor is really lively in the last few minutes. Tyrrell turns onto her left foot and levels it. And that's where Dublin have been profiting most, by running at the Tyrone defence with the likes of O'Connor laying it off and then taking the score quickly. 1-7 to 1-7 coming up to half time. Maxwell now going long, and that's a brilliant kick out again from Maxwell. Absolutely superb kick outs, and it relieves the pressure and sets Tyrone on the attack. And it's Niamh Hughes there, and she does well to get her free. And Tyrone, very interestingly, causing Dublin a lot of problems by running at them like this, drawing fouls, drawing frees. And it's Brennan now, and that's a clever ball by Brennan, popping it in over a couple of heads. Now it nearly didn't get there, but it did in the end. Niamh Hughes has it, and the referee has given a free in. Very interesting, as I said as well, to mention that Declan Carroll, the down referee, has never refereed Dublin before, and a few of the Dublin players are protesting to him there. So it'll be interesting to see what Mick Bowen thinks of that. I know he had a few comments after the league final about the rules and the physicality of the game and so on. I wonder how he is interpreting this today. But Declan Carlin is the man out there in the middle, and he is refereeing this TG4 senior championship game, and he is awarded a free for Tyrone, which has been delayed because of a knock to Chloe McCaffrey from the St McCartan's club. So we're coming up to the 30 minutes, and we'll obviously have a few more minutes added on. Scores level, but Tyrone a chance here to actually sneak into the lead at the end of the half. They went behind in the very first minute, of course, but came back from that, and they have either been level or ahead ever since. Chloe looks okay to continue. But is she going to take the free? I think she is, actually, so she's definitely okay. It's all very quiet here in Breffni. The Dublin supporters not making much noise, and Tyrone quietly happy with the way everything is going. Now, McCaffrey to give Tyrone the lead coming up to half-time. Steps inside, off the inside of the boot. I think that might have gone to the left, actually, and yes, that's gone wide. Ciara Trant goes short to Alwyn Kerry. And the pressure put on Kerry there, and she gets her free. Gets it to McGinley. McGinley spreads it out this side to McGee. She's kicked it long a few times, but she's going short this time to Martha Byrne. And it's McGee again over the 45. Bursting through tackles, and Tyrone throwing themselves at her, but McGee draws a foul actually, and the referee will bring that back for a free for Dublin. And you would imagine this would be a chance for Tyrrell to sneak Dublin into the lead right at the end of the half, and I think that'll be the first time that they will be ahead since the 50th second of the game. They went ahead in the very first minute. Off camera I can see Noelle Healy going on. She's the doctor now on the team to one of the players just to check that Lucy Collins is okay, and it appears that she is. And Tyrrell has no problem with that at all. Dublin back in front. They scored at the start of the half, and they've scored at the end of the half. Now, Maxwell's kickouts have been a delight so far from a Tyrone point of view, but that one goes straight to Kiva O'Connor, and she's been dangerous, and she knows what she's doing. She gives the ball in on her hair, and there, great switching around the hands, and a chance for a goal buried to the net right at the end of the half, and the Dubs are back in control. Siobhan Killeen from Clontarf, and how superb was that worked. Absolutely brilliant football, and the Dubs are back in business. 2-8 plays 1-7. So a 2-point lead for Dublin right at the end of the half, and the referee is, I think he's going to maybe hop that one. Tyrone will be disappointed with that. Aoibhinn McHugh is going to come out. I think she thought that was going to be a hot ball, but it's actually a free for Dublin. So Dublin finishing the half strongly. It looked like there was a chance there for them to sneak ahead, and instead, all of a sudden, they're 2 down. In fact, if I got my sums wrong, it's 4 down. 4 down. All of a sudden Dublin are 4 points up. Elsewhere I can tell you that it's Armagh 1-9, Monaghan 6 points. So Armagh leading in that game against Monaghan, and it's Cork 1-5, Meath 4 points. Those in the other games being played this afternoon in the All-Ireland Championship. Now, Tyrone break again. There's time at the end of this half maybe for them to get back into it. It's Aoibhinn McHugh doing really well, and look, there's space here for McCaffrey again. She's got in behind. Slack marking by Dublin. There are 4 players in there now, but one of them fouls her. They're not happy about it, but the referee has said that is a free. And again, the Tyrone tactic of bursting from the back. Great work by McHugh, and the full forwards line. Well, it's not really a line. There's only 1 or 2 players staying in there as full forwards, but the players who have been in there have been doing extremely well, and that will give Tyrone a little bit of a lift at the end of the half and take the bad look off it, because they don't deserve to be 4 down. So that's 1-8 plays 2-8, 3 in it in the 34th minute, coming into the 35th, and Declan, the referee, looks at his watch, looks at it again and again. So I'd imagine the whistle is going to go, and indeed the whistle has gone for half time. The applause goes up from the Dublin supporters now, and I haven't said that too much in this half because they haven't had too much to applaud, and At the end of the half, they got a goal and a couple of points, so that's what the applause is for. They finally got in front, but it's been a bit of a struggle for them. It's been a battle, and Tyrone have done extremely well, and the manager will be happy enough to be ahead at the end of that half, but certainly Tyrone have posed a lot of problems for the Dubs, and they will get a lot of credit for that performance in the first half. At half time, it is Dublin 2-8, Tyrone 1-8. It's fascinating, and we hope the second half will be the same. So please come back to us for the start of the second half. Welcome back to Breffni Park, and as you can see, there is only one team out on the pitch, and that's Tyrone. Although I think that's the Dubs maybe starting to come out of the tunnel now. No, it's just a few of the backroom team. So Dublin taking their time, and you would think that maybe they're spending time in there having a few words about what went wrong, and maybe spending a little bit of extra time discussing what went wrong, because Tyrone posed them a lot of problems. And yeah, there's Mick Bowen coming out and Noel Healy, and they are deep in conversation. Alwyn Kerry's come out as well, although Alwyn Kerry, the number 6 for Dublin, just down to the left, you can see her on the bottom of the screen there. Alwyn looks to possibly, is she coming on the second half? No, she's just maybe trying to get a pair of gloves or something. So yeah, we're getting ready for the start of the second half. Tyrone are waiting on the pitch and have been for 3 or 4 minutes, I would have said, at this point, and Dublin in no rush to come out. And maybe we shouldn't read too much into all that, but certainly Tyrone will be, I think, happy with the way the first half has gone, and they'll be in a good place at the minute. I'm feeling quite happy about the second half, even though they're 3 down. I don't think that was really representative of the first half, and they will feel that they should be encouraged by the first half, and I think they're looking forward to this half. And you know what, the message might be, go and do the same again and see what happens, because the Tyrone tactics worked extremely well for most of that half. Dublin hit them with a couple of goals right at the end of the half, but apart from that, Tyrone were doing extremely well. Now I'm listening for substitutes. Yeah, Lucy Collins and Lorna McGinley, I think, have been replaced. I didn't hear all of that exactly, but I think those 2 defenders have been replaced, and indeed there were a lot of issues for Dublin in defence in the first half. The Tyrone forwards, although they didn't commit many players forward, they did cause a lot of problems. Now I'm looking out to see, well, actually Lucy Collins, yeah, Leah Caffrey's still out there. She's gone to pick up her player, and also Hannah Leahy is out there playing at a sort of centre half back position. I'll try and pick up other changes as we get the game underway. The start of the second half. TG4 All-Ireland Senior Football Championship. The champions, Dublin. Lauren McGee fires the ball brilliantly to Sinead Ahern, her captain, and it's brilliantly taken, as you would expect, and it's kicked right-footed across, and there's a goal chance there right away, and that possibly crossed the line. I wonder, did it? The referee has given a free out, and though Dublin were claiming a goal, it was brilliantly worked, and the umpire was right on the spot, and it looks like Niamh McAvoy has had a word with the referee Declan Carlin and said, go and talk to your umpire. So he's going in to have a word. It just looked for a split second that possibly maybe the ball just dropped over the line. I know there was controversy in the league final about a ball going over the line, and the referee now is coming away. It doesn't look like he's signalling or trying to get them to signal a goal. No, I don't think it's a goal. So Tyrone survive in the first 30 seconds of the half, because that really would have caused trouble for Tyrone and put 6 points in it right at the start of the half, and would have been a body blow. But as it is, Maeve Maxwell, the Tyrone goalkeeper today, has survived. Nothing conceded, and she's fit to continue. So good news there for Tyrone. But Dublin certainly putting down their intent right at the start of the half. 24 in there, of course, for Tyrone, you see, is Christiane Hunter. She came on in the first half, so that's not a first half substitution. In fact, Tyrone made 5 changes at the start of the game. Lauren McGee running that, watching that really well and reading that really well, and gets that ball from Faye, and McGee now belts the ball across the pitch. So Dublin look a better team already in this half, and they're moving the ball quickly and with intent. And certainly it was McGee's excellent ball at the start of the half which nearly created a goal. And now they're getting in behind much better, and it's Tyrrell there, and she's been fouled, and she will get a free, and I'd imagine that's in a perfect position for her to kick it from there on her left foot. And she's inching a little bit closer, and she likes to sort of take a few steps inside and then hit it off the inside of the left foot. So I'd imagine this would be pretty textbook for her. 4 points in it for Dublin. They went into a 4-point lead at the end of the first half, but apart from that, it's been very close. In fact, they were behind by a goal on a few occasions. But it seems to be all Dublin now at the start of the second half. It's Colleen from Clontarf, and there's a nice ball in to Tyrone, and she seemed to be thinking about where she was going to put it and then lost it, but has done well to win it back. She's a very strong, fast player in there, and she gets it out to McAvoy, and they work it out to Hannah Leahy, wearing 4 from Scoil Econall. And she has got it to McGee, and now McGee goes for the score, and she kicks right-footed, and she kicks it to the right and wide. So Tyrone under pressure at the start of this half. 3 minutes gone in the half, and it's been all Dublin. Now where's Maxwell going with this? Her kickouts were very good in the first half. She went with a lot of long ones, but that's a short one, and that worked equally well. That's really good, and gives Tyrone possession with Gallagher. And initially it was Emma Mulgrew, the number 4, who got it, and this is the 17, Joanne Barrett. And Joanne is claiming a free, and she gets her free. And look at the amount of Tyrone players who are instantly thinking about defence. Like Joanne Barrett has moved back into a defensive area, and there's not a Dublin player near her, but she's obviously, I'm marking space in here. That's the Tyrone strategy. Here comes Gallagher now, and Gallagher's on a good run. That's good play by Gallagher. I saw her last year playing like that, and that's very good, but in the end the kick goes astray, and it's Dublin who will try and get in past the Tyrone defence, but that's not going to do it. The ball goes out of play on the left side, but Dublin still pressing. Now, can Tyrone get out? They haven't really been over the halfway line. McHugh is forced to go back. She's playing midfield, but well, she's named to midfield, but she hasn't been in midfield. She's playing more as a sweeper in there, and then she's bursting forward now. I fancy that might be given as a charge, and it is indeed on McAvoy. And Sinead Ahern, who started the game, although she's wearing 18, grabs it and wants to take it quickly, and does so, and gets it to Leahy, gets it to McGee, to McAvoy. This is much better from Dublin. It's Ahern again, and there's a goal on now. Could this be the Dubs getting back? The referee, I think, will give a penalty for that challenge by the goalkeeper Maxwell. That seems to be his body language. He's coming in. No, he's actually going to talk to his umpire. And it's all one-way traffic at the minute, and Dublin certainly are in control, and it's more like the Dublin that we know. And the referee has actually said, no, that's perfectly fine, nothing doing there. Credit to the goalkeeper. Oh no, I say credit to the goalkeeper, but she's just giving it straight to Tyrrell, and you don't want to be doing that. And then it's gone to Colleen, and Colleen shoots right-footed. Another point for Dublin. This is what we expected at the start of the game. It's come at the start of the second half. It's Dublin 2-10, it's Tyrone 1-8, and that all came from Dublin pressure, forcing Tyrone into a mistake. Now, what will she do with this kick out? Oh no, she's kicked it straight to Tyrrell again, 2 times in a row. And Tyrrell now on her left foot, she will take her time in getting it to Dunn, and they will spread the play because Siobhan Colleen has gone right out to the sideline, so they're stretching Tyrone. That was maybe another message from the management at half time. And be patient. Leah Caffrey, Martha Byrne up there. And they come all the way back, and there's 28, and that's Siobhan McGrath from Thomas Davis, and she's come into the play, so she was one of the subs at half time. Oh, and there's a nice little dummy there, and the referee lets that go. I think Tyrone were expecting a free for overcarrying, but Dublin seemed to be much more on the money in the second half. Colleen, she got a point a second ago. She goes for another one, and she has got another one. Both beautifully taken, floated over the bar, and it's now Dublin 2-11, Tyrone 1-8, and all of a sudden there's a good daylight between the teams, and Colleen has been very lively, as has Kiva O'Connor, the 2 girls from the Clontarf club. Now Maeve Maxwell changes her mind at the last minute and looks for McHugh from the kick out, but Dublin are all over Tyrone in this half. They will not let them out, and Colleen there finds 3 Dublin players in a little bit of space, and it's number 21 that's for Dublin. That is Kate Sullivan, who's come in at half time. They work it to Dunn, and Dunn does the rest. 2-12 plays 1-8, and all of a sudden Tyrone are in a bit of bother, and Maeve Maxwell settles it all down a little bit there by tying her laces. Elsewhere, by the way, at half-time, Cavan 5 points, Mayo 1-9, Armagh 1-9, Monaghan 0-6, and Cork 1-5, Meath 4 points. So most of the games relatively close and low scoring. Or maybe I'm just used to big scoring after following the Ulster Minor and Under-16 Championship the last few days. Now Tyrone, this is much better. They're bursting forward, and a little bit of interplay there and good close passing and driving forward. And they get into the Dublin half, but in the end, Dublin are just a lot sharper in this half than they were in the first half. And this is Sullivan now, Kate Sullivan, and she's surely been fouled there by Niamh O'Neill, and Niamh is quite happy to hold the play up there and give her defence a bit of respite. But Dublin's options are limited because Tyrone have so many players back now. I see them all drifting back. Tyrone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players inside their 45. But still Dublin come through, and there might be a goal chance actually. Oh, and surely that's a foul. The referee says no. Maybe she just fell awkwardly, and the kick still goes in and goes over the bar. So Dublin threatening goal all the time, and I see off camera, by the way, there's 5 or 6 Dublin players, and I see Alwyn Carey, I think it is, saying to them all, let's push up. So that's maybe the message in this half for Dublin. Push right up on the Tyrone kickouts, because they were very good in the first half, the kickouts, but they're not getting anywhere near the same success in this half. They're forced to go short, and that has worked for Christiane Hunter. But you see the amount of Dublin players there not giving Tyrone a chance, and Tyrone finding it very difficult to get out of their own half or even to get beyond the 45. Niamh Hughes there now, she can burst through, and she does, but she's having to get around 2 or 3 tackles, and McGrath does well to get back there and put the ball out of play, and it is still a Tyrone ball. It's a pity there's not more Tyrone support here today, because I think Tyrone supporters would be giving them a little bit of encouragement, and they could do with that, because their first half really deserves it. Really super first half by Tyrone. They've been really disciplined, some super play, really good structure to the game, but also some really good skill as well, and bringing forward play. And here's a few more examples of that, but the pressure being put on there brilliantly by O'Connor, and it was Emma Hegarty there who was under pressure. And that is kind of the way that the second half has gone. Dublin putting serious pressure onto Tyrone. And it's a Tyrone player down, and the referee Declan Carlin is stopping his watch and going to talk to his umpire to see if she saw anything untoward there. Tyrone look to be putting on a sub as well. Gráinne McKenna, number 18 from the St Macartans club, looks to be coming on, and the other 18 for Dublin, Sinead Ahern, has just ambled off the pitch, so the captain has done her bit for Dublin today. And I'm looking to see, and I'll just listen to the substitutions.
Number 18, Sinead Ahern. And a substitution on the Tyrone team, number 18, Gráinne McKenna, replaces number 4, Emma Mulgrew.
Yeah, if you heard that. If you didn't, I'll repeat it anyway. Gráinne McKenna, 18 for Tyrone, has come in for Emma Mulgrew, and Sinead Ahern has gone off, and I think she said she was replaced by 19, which would be Lindsay Davey. I'm looking around to see if I can see. Yeah, Lindsay Davey is on the field. So the reserves that Dublin have, if you can call them that, I don't mean reserve players, I mean in reserve, are frightening, to be honest. They've Goldrick in there, they've Siobhan McGrath who's come on, they've Nicole Owens, they've Lindsay Davey who has come on, and so many good players. And Carla Rowe hasn't come on. She was to start the game, but she didn't. Now Tyrone's still looking a little bit lively. I'm thinking, let's get up the field here. Tori McLaughlin, the captain, and it's Dublin's turn to let Tyrone have the ball. Hegarty there again, and she takes a little bit of a run, gets past O'Connor, and does really well actually to hold possession and not overcarry. And this is better from Tyrone. This is Hegarty on her right foot, but look at the marking there. That's brilliant from Alwyn Carey, so sharp into the tackle there, puts her arm out as well, and I think she's got a free as well. And Alwyn Carey back in the fold with Dublin, rock solid and so dependable, from the Thomas Davis club. And there was one year there, I think it was 2 years ago, she was maybe the only player who played every single game in the National League. She's very dependable and understated and maybe underrated at times for the impact she has on the Dublin setup. Now Dublin play this wide to the near side to Jennifer Dunn. Jennifer has loads of room. Tyrone happy to let her have lots of room in there. She goes to the corner to Colleen, and there's a chance for a goal now. Could Dunn be in for her second goal? And she didn't really connect that one at all, but I think the referee's going to bring that back, and surely that's a penalty. I think it looks like he has given a penalty just as she was about to kick. And the first half, of course, she belted one to the top of the net. This time I couldn't see exactly from here, but it looked like somebody impeded her because she didn't get a clear strike on it. The Tyrone players are protesting. Declan is saying, I'm having none of it. And the Tyrone manager, Kevin McChrystal, not happy obviously with that decision, but it is a penalty. And it is for the All-Ireland champions of the last 4 years. Niamh McAvoy will take it. So 13 minutes into the second half, the All-Ireland champions haven't had it all their own way, but there is now daylight between the teams, and Niamh McAvoy steps up right-footed and slots it straight down the middle, and Maeve Maxwell read that and saved it rather easily. So the game still in the melting pot and still very interesting, because that certainly would have put a lot between the teams, but maybe it will lift Tyrone. Here it is again. Maybe she thought the keeper would move, or maybe she just didn't get a clean connection on it, but Maeve read it really well and just made a rather easy save in the end. But the Dubs coming again. And this is Byrne, Martha Byrne, stepping forward. And that's worked in the end to Niamh McAvoy, and she fires it over the bar after good work by Lindsay Davey, I think it was, in there, and that is a point for Dublin. Well worked indeed. Actually it was 19. Yeah, Lindsay Davey in there and Byrne, and finished, and that is now 2-14 to 1-8, and all of a sudden there's 9 points in it. Tyrone were 3 up, so that's a 12-point turnaround. And Tyrone making a substitution, and that looks like number 9 Emma Jane Gervin has gone in there to replace Reagan Fay. Colleen as the Dubs come again, and Davey shapes to shoot, drops it, gets it again, and there's still a chance, and it's fired over the bar by O'Connor. This is what we all expected to come in the first half. It's now come in the second half, and it's all Dublin, and basically it's been 15 minutes of shooting in from the Dubs. And indeed we are at the water break. A very dominant performance by Dublin in the first 15 minutes of that half, and Tyrone have not got anywhere near even the goals at the other end, never mind to get a score. So a little bit disappointing for them. Elsewhere, I can tell you it's Armagh 2-12, Monaghan 1-10. Kelly Mallon has punched to the net for Armagh, so obviously Monaghan have been staging a really good comeback there, getting back into that game, but Armagh have just got a goal. So after 42 minutes, Kelly Mallon has scored, and they have a little bit of daylight there now. A 5-point lead for Armagh. Mayo 114, Cavan 9 points, so Mayo are 8 points up there, a point from Shauna Howley. And where else have I got for you? Yes, Cork 1-7, Meath 7 points. So with just a goal in it, and Vicky Wall's shot was deflected over the bar, so Meath right in that game. And in the All-Ireland Junior Championship, Antrim against Derry, a goal from Ciara McGurk for Derry. And Derry are in the lead. Antrim 4 points, Derry 1-3. And there is surprise in my voice there, because I saw them play recently and Antrim won it rather easily. So Derry going really well there. A goal from Ciara McGurk. Derry in front against Antrim, and that would be a surprise. So well done to Derry there so far. That's all the news in the water break. You see the Tyrone players in the huddle there, and the Dublin players with Lindsay, or rather Siobhan McGrath in the middle there, having a word, and they're all having their say on what should be done. I think I saw Nicole Owens as well going to the referee's assistant, or is it the fourth official they call it these days. So Nicole Owens, and indeed I see her over on the far side there, number 20 for Dublin. Nicole Owens is into the play. I'm not quite sure who has gone off, but Nicole Owens is definitely out there, and she is picking up someone around the middle of the field, so we'll see where she plays, or see who she has replaced in a minute or two. Meantime, what can Dublin do, or rather what can Tyrone do about the relentless All-Ireland champions third quarter, which has been dominant, I think is the word. Now that's a better kick out, and it's gone all the way to Chloe McCafferty. She had a great first half, not so good in the second half, but now all of a sudden we see Tyrone breaking forward, and this is really the furthest they've got in the entire half. Now they're having to come back. Emma-Jane Girvan gets it back to Brennan. And it's McCaffrey again, and this is better from Tyrone. And Girvan has found a little bit of room. She's just come into the play in the last few minutes. McHugh is there. Nice and composed from McHugh. And this is good work by Niamh Hughes. A nice burst from her. And she's fired it over the bar. Much, much better from Tyrone.
Substitution on the Dublin team, number 20, Nicole Owens replaces number 14, Niamh Heatherton.
And if you heard that or didn't hear that, that's Heatherton who has gone off for Dublin, and that's the replacement to do with Nicole Owens. Now the kick out from Trant, picked up easily by Kate Sullivan, and lots of room, and Dublin coming forward in waves without much challenge on the ball. That's because the Tyrone players have all dropped deep, but there's the high ball into the full forward area, which is cut out about 6 or 7 Tyrone players, and it's well done in there by Niamh McAvoy, and she comes back out and looks for a little bit of support from Killeen, and Killeen gets on her right foot. She's always deadly, and just as I say that, she gets blocked on this occasion, so Tyrone were wise to that on this occasion, and that's good play there by Dervla Gallagher, and Tyrone moving it quickly. And that must have been the message in their water break. Come on, lift it a little bit here. You've done so well so far. Let's go. Let's see what you can do at the end of this game. Certainly a super first half from Tyrone. And that's a really nice ball there by Emma-Jane Girvan. And she got it to Niamh O'Neill. And a brilliant ball with it. It's just dangerous as well. And McCaffrey nearly got there, but Trant was alive to that. And Tyrone started with 3 Niamhs on the team. And they're now bringing in another one. Niamh Woods is poised to come on. Back with the play, 49 minutes played, and Tyrone back in numbers again, but a foul, and immediately Tyrrell makes her way over. There's 2 subs down in front of me. One is Niamh Woods for Tyrone, about to come on, and for Dublin, Michelle Daveron from the Kilmacud Crooks club, wearing 23, is poised to come on, and they both run over the line at the same time. So both managers ringing in the changes. I don't think there's any doubt about the result at this stage, so it's what else you can do and who else you can play. Lauren McGee comes off for Dublin, and Emma Brennan comes off for Tyrone, and a big round of applause from the Dublin supporters and the Tyrone substitutes for both players. As Tyrrell back with the play, kicks left footed. Oh, and that's a dangerous looking one. I think that just clipped the crossbar, so it could have dropped under, but it drops over, and Mick Bohan will be a much more satisfied man by the way things are going. And you see his jersey flapping a little bit there. There must be more of a breeze down at ground level than I imagined earlier in the game. Now Gallagher has done well for Tyrone to win that ball from the kick out. Dublin much more intense in this half. Certainly they were at the start of the half, so it seems to have just faded a little bit in the last couple of minutes in terms of intensity, but you expect that when one team goes so far ahead. There's 10 in it, I make it, yeah, 22 plays 12, 2:16 plays 1-9 with about 9 minutes to go, and then maybe any added time. Gallagher again. She always has a nice burst of pace and runs into traffic and lays it off. And there's Hughes, and she tries to go through the same traffic, but there's a wall of blue there, but she does well, and she gets it through to McHugh, and there could be a goal chance on here, and there's tigerish defending there, and the Dublin players all get back, and in the end she's forced to kick wide, and the referee is actually going to pull it back for a free. And who was doing all that defending and hassling in there but only Lindsay Davey, in as a sub a few minutes ago. She's been there, done that. She's 31 years old, but she's been around forever, and she's still around, and she's coming on and showing the rest of the players how to do it. From the Skerries Harps Club, and I think I read something during the week, it said that she's been spent more of her life in the Dublin squad than not in it, so she must have been in from about 15 years old. Tyrone rolling on another sub, and it's Caitlin Kelly this time from the Kappa Club. She's wearing number 6, And she's coming in for McHugh, and McHugh really put in a shift. She really did well today for Tyrone around that sort of half-back area as a sweeper, and she had a really good impact on the game. Ciara Trant now with the kickouts. She tries to pick out Sullivan, and she's done that once already, and she's done it again, and that was what you call precise. Kerry's out there, and Dunn, and Leahy will be looking to get Nicole Owens on the ball. She hasn't seen too much of it since she came in. Now McGrath spreads the play. They're going sideways rather than forward, but Sullivan might do something about that now. And Colleen trying to get on that right foot. She does like to move into that right side and get on that right. She got a few points there a while back within a few minutes. That one, I think, was an effort at goal. Now it's Owens I was talking about. She gets on her left foot, and has she got a score? No, she puts it wide. 7 minutes to go. 2:16 plays 1:10. And I can hear the Tyrone manager shouting a little bit of encouragement. I'm sure he'll be happy with the first half performance, and he might just ask a little bit more and hope that his team can finish with a little bit of a flourish. But I'm sure after the game he'll be pointing out that first half performance, and that will give them encouragement going forward. And they are going forward despite lots of Dublin pressure out there. The second half has been more like the Dublin that we know. Gervin now for Tyrone. And they work it to Hegarty from the Donegal Club. 18 is Grania McKenna. Gallagher with that familiar burst of speed, but she loses it, gets it back. Does well. Joanne Barrett from Drumragh, same club as Niamh Woods, who is in the play as well. 15 is McCafferty, who's played really well. And here she goes, trying to get through, and she draws a free. Tyrone, I think, have only scored 1 point in this half, would that be right? So this would be a welcome one for Niamh O'Neill. And the referee is going to move this forward. I think, yeah, he is. I think because maybe a player infringed a little bit. He's saying where you have to kick it from. Oh, yeah. So she's giving herself a little bit of room. It goes over. 1:11. Plays 2:16. 5 to go. The sun just coming through the clouds here, and it looks really hot out there. I'm sure it's been tough for everybody out there today in this sort of heat, and especially after the intensity of the first half. Owens for Dublin. Gives it off to Daverin. To Davy. Sullivan always seems to be available over on this left side. Comes inside. Leaves it off. I'm not sure who she meant she was giving it to. She maybe just saw a few Dublin jerseys, but Davy is there, and Davy spreads the play towards Nicole Owens. And Nicole isn't able to collect that one, and it may just run over the end line. She's got lots of company there, but she does well actually, and gets it on her left foot and works the ball out to Leah Caffrey and gets it again, and it's on her left foot, and if this scores it will be all her own, but it's been well dealt with in the full back line for Tyrone, and there is the full back, and that is Tori McLaughlin, the captain. And look at the pressure that Dublin put on Tyrone in this half. They can't get out of their own defence, and that's what Tyrone were doing to Dublin in the first half. So Dublin have really turned the tables in the second half. This is great work by Hughes, the number 10, bursting through, and she was sandwiched there but still kept going, and the referee said actually you overcarried, and she's probably saying, well, it was impossible to do anything else. 56.5 minutes gone, and the referee blows his whistle. I'm not quite sure. Well, there's a little bit of treatment down in the Tyrone goalmouth area for a Tyrone player. And Tyrone warming up, or looking like they might bring on another substitution. Number 29 is Katie Murphy from Trillick. So Dublin look like they're heading for their 23rd straight senior championship win. And all of those under Mick Bohan in the last 5 seasons. Their last defeat was the game before Mick took over, which was in the All-Ireland final of 2016. They've won every game since then. What a record. 23 straight championship wins, 4 All-Irelands, and they will be hoping to make it 5 in a row. What a record for Mick Bohan, and what a panel he has there now. He's brought in young players, he's got old players still on board. And I say old, that's maybe been a little bit unkind. They seem to have been around for a while, but as I say, Lindsay Davies only 31. And in Mick's 5 years, he's actually never played against Tyrone before, so it'll be interesting to hear his thoughts. Maybe he was a little bit surprised by that first half, the way that Tyrone played, and sat very deep in the way that they took the game to Dublin and led them by 3 points at one stage. I'm sure that wasn't in the Dublin script. And the Tyrone player is up on her feet, and that's Joanne Barrett. So it's good to see. And the referee now gives permission for the game to get underway again, and Tyrrell is there. Tyrrell from the Nafiana club. So Dublin this half have been in control, but they haven't scored any goals. Now they had a penalty which was saved, but they haven't been able to get into the goal area. The 2 goals came near the end of the first half, but they've been a lot more patient in this half. Lindsay Davey, and she goes for the direct route into the forward area, and I'm not sure she meant to score a point, but she did. Lindsay Davey on the score sheet in the 2021 All-Ireland Senior Championship. That kick out has been expertly taken by McGrath in there, and she gets a free as well, and it's taken quickly, and that has been one of the keys in this half, that Dublin have won nearly every kick out on the Tyrone kick out, unless it's been a short one. So they really have pressed up in this half, and it's Davey again. She's been so dangerous, and she takes it into the white wall of players but releases it at the right moment. O'Connor gets it into Owens, and she likes to shoot on her left foot, or certainly has been, but on this occasion she actually gets it back to Caffrey, and that is a free for Dublin. So no goals, but the points ticking over. And in fact, the referee is going in to have a word with his umpire, maybe checking that it was outside the parallelogram, just in case it should be a penalty. Elsewhere, Mayo are in charge against Cavan, 118-13, so Mayo going well there. Looking like they're going to win that one. Fermanagh are playing Leitrim in Ballinamore, and Fermanagh are leading by 4, 111-17. As Tyrrell pops that one over the bar. And in the Derry Antrim game, which is very interesting, Derry now lead by 4. Derry won 6, Antrim 5 points. Bit of a surprise there in the junior championship. And Cork are only a point up against Meath, 1-8 to 10 points. So great performance from Meath. They've made such tremendous progress in the last couple of years. Now Sullivan for Dublin. She uses the width of the pitch and gets it out to Kiva O'Connor. And O'Connor always looking to come in on that right side, and the referee will bring it back for a free, which gives me a chance to tell you again about that Cork Meath game. Emma Duggan closes the gap to a point after 57 minutes. That would be a pretty sensational result if Meath were to do something there in the last few minutes. Certainly very impressive as it is. Davy takes that, kicks it right footed, and it's just gone to the right and wide. So she'll have to be satisfied with just 1 point so far. Armagh and Monaghan are playing as well today, and Armagh have put a little bit of daylight between the teams. Armagh 4-12, Monaghan 1-10, so it was 2-12. So 2 goals for Armagh in the last 10 minutes or so. The latest from Alex Clark, who's a sister of Jamie Clark, by the way, from the Crossmaglen club, and the other goal for Armagh there from Eve Lavery with an unstoppable shot. So a few of the young and up and coming Armagh players there making an impression on that. Cork have got another point. Cork 1-9, Meath 10. Emer Scally with that, so Cork steadying that a little bit, but still very close at the end. We're near the end here, and it's Niamh O'Neill for Tyrone. She's played really well, and she goes for a point from distance. That might be a little bit ambitious, and yes, it drops easily into the arms of Ciara Trant from the St Bridget's Club. Three minutes into injury time. We're in the 63rd minute of the game. And that's Hannah Leahy spreading the play out towards Nicole Owens. Both players go for it. Eventually she gets it. Gets it to Tyrrell on that familiar left foot, and a nicely measured ball in there to McAvoy, and she gets it in pirouettes but runs into more traffic, and the Dublin players a little bit frustrated, but the Tyrone players stood firm. The captain Tori McLaughlin bursting out. Niamh Hughes trying to burst out, but there's a strong challenge going in, and the referee's actually given that one against the Tyrone player. One of those collisions, and Hughes seemed to be tearing forward, couldn't see a gap, tried to find a little gap and ran into the Dublin player, and the free has been awarded to Dublin, and Niamh is the worse for wear after that. So that'll hold us up another minute or two, so let me just check in case anything sensational has happened there in any of the other games, and it hasn't. It's still Cork leading by 2. Declan Carlin, the referee, now going to the far side to talk to his linesperson. Not quite sure what that is about. You see the Dublin support there. All blue in the stand, and the stand is blue, of course, for Cavan. Lindsay Davey with the free, and she kicks right-footed looking for Tyrrell, and she collects it, turns nicely, flicks it in to Dunn. This is good work by Dublin. Will they get a goal right at the end of the game to polish this performance? So the shot goes low, and lots of Tyrone players are in there, and they clear, and they get it out to Tori McLaughlin, and McLaughlin gets support from Gallagher, but look at the diving challenge there from McAvoy to win that back. That's the desire. That's the desire of all Ireland champions right in the last few minutes of the game. They all want to keep their places, and they all want to finish in style, and they want to show a signal of intent, and it comes out to Alwyn Carey and out to Davey again. And that's been the story of the second half, that Tyrone have been under so much pressure all of the time. Now Tyrrell pops up on the left side of the attack, catches again, but she's been dispossessed, and it's a Tyrone free. 65 minutes gone. We've had a few stoppages. Drama. Fermanagh 111, Leitrim 110, and Leitrim had a penalty saved again by Shauna Murphy. She saved 2 by the sounds of it, and Fermanagh 111-110. Real drama in that game. As the final whistle goes here in Breffni Park, Declan Carlin calls an end to it. We had a thrilling first half, a fascinating first half, one-way traffic in the second half, which means that Dublin have ended up winners on a scoreline of 218 to 111. Sounds convincing, but Tyrone posed a lot of questions in that game. The managers shake hands, and Mick Bohan says, well done to Kevin McChrystal. I've never played Dublin against Tyrone in the last 4 or 5 years, but they have now, and they maybe didn't expect such a tough challenge. And Niamh McAvoy comes off after that looking like she's had to put a shift in, and she did. And she had a penalty saved, of course, in that second half. But Tyrone, I fancy, will take a few positives from this. The way they set up in the first half was very effective, and they led at one stage, and their forwards were very, very good. Lots of good performances, and maybe their best performance by their goalkeeper, Maeve Maxwell, and by that girl there, number 13, Niamh O'Neill, and on the other side, Chloe McCaffrey. They all had fine games as well, and there's a bit of a smile there on the Tyrone face as they go to shake hands with the Dublin players, so they'll be relatively satisfied. They really were coming in here today as lambs to the slaughter, but they actually performed extremely well and showed up and gives themselves a little bit of optimism for the future. So that's it from Breffni Park. We hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to go down and do a few interviews from both teams now, and we'll put them up on social media later on so you can follow those as well. But for now, from all of the team in Breffni Park, it's goodbye.